Hi friend, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and in this video I want to continue where we talked about in our last video. We were all about lighting for kind of a hybrid type event, an event that the in-person experience is crucial, but the live stream or recorded experience is also crucial. And how do you balance all that stuff? And so in this video, we want to talk about lighting the audience. How do we do that? How do we make an audience look really good? We're going to discuss that right here. So the very first thing I want to do is just, before we even look at the computer, I want to talk about, okay, what is crucial when you're lighting an audience, and why in the world do we even light an audience in this type of an event, right? Because if you're thinking about it, you're like, okay, a typical event, like a regular church service, a regular concert, whatever type of event you do, typically the audience is darker or in the dark, especially during music portions, right? In a church service, maybe during preaching, the lights are up. That's pretty typical. But for music portions, for concerts, conferences, stuff like that, typically the lights are down or lower in the audience, but on stage is where all the light is, right? That presents a few problems when it comes to if video is important and the audience in the room is going to be part of that, okay? Typically in a live streamed or hybrid type event, you want to show that the audience is there. And there's a couple ways you might do that, right? You might have cameras on stage shooting behind or beside the presenters, which then reveals the audience. You may have wide shots with a jib or just a regular camera where the room is part of the shot as well as the stage. And in both of these cases, if you do not light that audience at least a little bit, okay, then they're just going to be a black hole on camera. You're literally not going to see them. It just doesn't look good because you've got now all this weird blank space where, from the recording and from the sound of the audience, clapping and whatnot, people watching know there's an audience there, but they literally can't see them because they're completely in the dark. Okay. So we want to avoid that. How do we do that? Well, the best way to do that is to get some light on the audience. And lighting the audience is going to be different than lighting the stage. And so what I want to do here is I want to go ahead and open up a couple programs and show you some really great tips for lighting an audience. So give me a hot second and I'll be right back and we'll do that. All right. So we've gone ahead and we've loaded a show file here in the visualizer that I like to use, the capture visualizer. And this is, a typical show, right? I threw some audience members in here real quick, just a scattered, socially distant audience, I guess you could say. And I've put on a lighting look on stage. For the most part, I've got a pretty basic rig here. So if we look around, capture is great because it's basically a camera, right? So if we shoot like from here, if we shoot from here, and if we had this all the way dark, and I can actually do that, we are in the beta view, I can dial that exposure down. We're going to see how dark these audience members get. And so let me go ahead and do that. So we just bring down the exposure to dark for a typical concert. And we see, okay, when we're shooting, when we see these people, they're basically completely in the dark. Like you can't even see them. Okay. So how do we light these people? How do we get them to be a part of the show? Well, one way is we could take, the typical house light approach, and I'm just going to grab my front truss here and borrow it for a second. You could grab your front truss here, see those four, and basically point them down into the audience, right? You could literally go, grab the first one, grab the second one, point these down directly overhead in the audience. And any light that comes from direct overhead is going to look pretty decent on the audience. The point here is not necessarily to light the people perfectly, but just make it so that when you're in a shot that's wide like this, Okay, the people in the audience are seen. I realize they're all facing the wrong way now, but that doesn't really matter. The point is to make them be seen, make them be revealed to the camera. Even in a wide shot like this, you don't necessarily have to light them from your perspective. Like here, I don't have any front light per se on them. It's all just coming from directly overhead. Okay. Just as another example, let's go ahead and move those guys back. So move those lights back to the stage. And now I want to use my mid-stage truss this time. So when it comes to choosing an angle in order to light your audience, there's really a lot of ways you can do it. It's not super particular. You've got to think about how critical the audience lighting is to the show. Like if you're trying to make it so that you have a revealed shot from here where, you're really seeing those people lit really well, and you want it to be smooth, and you want it to be, maybe you're like zooming in from here on a particular person in the camera and they're accepting an award or something. Okay, if that's the case, then you really want to get from like 45 degrees from wherever that is, or approximately, you want to get a good light in there. And so in this case, I've got these mid-stage lights, and I would probably use a wash would be best. These are a spot, but we're going to use them anyways. And I would use them to fill that space. I would zoom them as wide as they can go. These are actually Mac 2000s. I'm only remember how they work. I'd zoom them. I'd frost them. Get them nice and smooth, and then balance that intensity as we talked about in the last video. Take that intensity and balance it until the people are lit, we can see them, but it's not overdone. And then here we've got it in blue, but I would go ahead, and if you're actually highlighting someone, you're actually pointing them out, then you definitely want to take it to white for that person. Of course, brightness-wise, exposed correctly. Now, this works when you're highlighting someone specific using a soft edge light like a moving head wash, like a Fresnel, can work really well at that kind of job. However, when it comes to general audience lighting, like here, I want to show a picture of, it's a very blue audience from a show I did that was a hybrid type event. Okay, where we've got beams through the air and we've got gobos in all the lights. And the reason why, there's a couple of reasons why you want to put gobos in all your lights and prisms if you can, like I did here, when you're lighting an audience like this, okay? Couple really important reasons why. If you just have like a wash light, like a Fresnel or something else, and it's coming from like that 45-degree angle at people to light them well, then their eyes are going to get tired. Like it's going to wear them out, okay? So for audience lighting, you typically want to keep the angle higher and or wider, okay? Either, just a little bit off directly overhead so people aren't staring directly into the lights because that's going to really fatigue them, and or from the sides of the room to light it, okay? And then we also, if it's not a moment where you're actually like specifically highlighting a person that you need to see clearly on the camera, you're just looking for general audience, put a gobo in those lights, okay? This could be as simple as just a Lico, an ellipsoidal type light with a gobo placed in it. Or if it's a moving light with gobos in a prism, then applying a slow rotation to that light is really going to help you out. Okay, it really is, okay? Now I want to actually punt, and so those are the basic premises for audience lighting. If you're washing an audience, keep it overhead more so than in front. But if you need to wash it for like direct camera, like someone who's going to be on the screen, on the recording, needs to present from down there, then it needs to come from a more typical 45-degree angle. Okay, but if it's not that, keep it high, keep it wide, use gobos, use frost if you've got it, maybe just a little bit of frost, and rotate that gobo very slowly. And when you have a slow gobo rotation, that means if the light's hitting someone in the eye for a minute or two, then it goes away for like 5 minutes and then it comes back, right? And so it's not a constant thing, and people can move their head to dodge it if they need to. Okay, So now I want to go ahead and for the next portion of this video, I want to talk about console layout for the camera ready show. So when it comes to laying out your console, say, I don't know what console you've got, if you've got faders, you've got on-screen faders, you've got buttons, etc. But when we're laying out for a camera ready show, we first start with the principles of laying out our console like any other show. And so whatever that means for the type of shows you run, it could be one big long queue list. It could be a punt type layout where things are more separated, where you've got different options. But the biggest key when you're talking about being camera ready, as we've talked about in all these videos, is having the ability to adjust every part of the room. Okay. So take, for example, again, this blue photo from this hybrid event that I lit last year. In this video, I have individual control of an intensity fader for pretty much every light on that stage. And this is actually how film and TV people typically work. They use a lot of submasters. I use a lot of inhibitive faders that subtract from the look on stage, but it's the same concept. And I've got faders, I've got my front light. I lock that in. Okay, so my wash light on the stage gets locked in. Okay, I literally do not give myself an option to change that. Often I even put it on a button so that I can't change the level of that, okay, because it's got to be the same all the time for the camera. However, like I mentioned, things like your backlight and your audience lighting are going to change depending on the circumstances, okay? Backlight, as I mentioned in the last video, is going to change based on the person's complexion, what they're wearing, and if the background changes. And then your audience lighting, a lot of that's going to change if you change the color, right? Because color and intensity are related, right? If we keep the intensity of a light the same, but we change the color, the brightness changes. And that goes for whether it's a LED, where you're mixing the color from red, green, blue LEDs, and you're doing an additive color, or if it is a subtractive color from a color wheel or a CMY. If you change that color, the intensity changes, okay? And while you can record color and intensity together in palettes, sometimes, especially if things are on the fly and they're changing a lot, you may just want to have an intensity fader for each group of lights. So like I mentioned in this example, I've got wash lights in the audience. I've got those on a fader. I've got gobos in the audience. I've got those on a fader. There are LED pars uplighting columns and the walls around this room. I've got a fader for those. Okay, I even have a fader for the ones in the background of the stage that's different from the ones on the side of stage so that I can control them separately. Okay, the name of the game here is faders, and these don't have to be physical, right? These are the kinds of things that you don't modify as much. So maybe you've got a console with motorized faders, you just put them on a different bank. Maybe you don't have a console with motorized faders, you put them on screen and then you just carefully move them as you need them. You can even, make use of a mouse versus a touch screen when you need to make those really subtle changes. Okay, but the key here is to be flexible, to have your different intensities and to be ready for changes. I hope you've enjoyed this video and the videos we've done this month on creating live events that have cameras and getting the absolute best lighting out of them. If you have enjoyed this, please subscribe here. And if you're brand new to stage lighting, hop over to learnstagelighting.com. I've got a free guide that I want to share with you to get you started with lighting. And with that, we will see you guys in our next video. Thanks for watching.